Hiring an executive assistant can be one of the best things that you can do for your business. But this only happens if you set them up to succeed. Too often, I see leaders bring in their executive assistant or EA, they throw them into chaos, and they expect a miracle or some magic to be performed. And that's just not very realistic. In this video, I want to break down the exact systems that you need to put in place before you hire your assistant. This is going to ensure that when they come in, they're not just trying to manage or catch up on your task, but they can actually help elevate your business. So let's think about our executive assistant as the operational partner and not just a task master. But in order to function in that role, you want to make sure that there's structure put in place. So, again, before you even think about hiring your first administrative assistant, ask yourself these questions. Do I know what success looks like in this role? Do I have repeatable processes that they can follow or improve upon? And do I have clear expectations around communication, priorities, and boundaries? Now, if your answer is no, you're not ready. But the good news is you can be. Here are 5 systems that you need to set up before your first hire. Now, that first system is going to be a communication system. You want to decide how you're going to communicate with your executive assistant on a daily basis. Are you going to use Slack, email, Voxer, or maybe even text? You also need to figure out what's urgent versus things that can wait. And you'll see that having this put in place is going to save you so much time during the onboarding and the initial working phases with your EA. The second thing you want to set up is a calendar and scheduling system. Your calendar is the playground for your EA. And so, whether you're using Google Calendar or Calendly, you want to make sure, first and foremost, they have access to everything that they need. The second thing is identify your preferences. This is going to include your typical meeting lengths, your buffer times, any meeting types. Do you have any location preferences? And you also want to identify your non negotiables and your work hours. And here's a bonus tip: have a scheduling rules doc that your executive assistant can refer to, and this will save you time in having to answer the real easy questions. The third thing you want to put in place is a task management system. No assistant should live in your inbox. Make sure you're using tools like My Intervals, ClickUp, or Basecamp, or maybe even Asana so that your tasks are tracked, delegated, and followed up on. Include deadlines, file links, and any recurring workflows. The fourth thing that you want to put in place is your documentation and your SOPs, also known as standard operating procedures. Even if it's messy, you have to start somewhere. You can screen record videos of your recurring tasks. You can write quick tutorials out and label virtual folders clearly. Now, you don't need a perfect handbook, you just need enough to reduce some of the guesswork. These things can always be revised as you go. And then the last thing that you want to put in place is your inbox guideline system. If they're managing your email, you want to make sure that there are labels or folder systems created. Also, give them templates for frequent replies and add a voice guide on how you like for them to respond to clients, vendors, or even other team members. This is going to help you train your executive assistant to start responding like you without being a complete clone. Now, here's the truth when it comes to an executive assistant: your executive assistant does not just organize your business, they're supposed to be there to help amplify what already exists. And so, if your systems are messy and they come in and they inherit chaos, then the output is going to be chaos. But if the systems are clear, even in a rough draft, your EA becomes a game changer. So start with one system at a time. And then once you have all of these systems in place and you're ready, you can delegate with confidence and not desperation.